Thanks for tuning in to the Women's Vibrancy Code, a podcast dedicated to helping women move from exhausted to energized, balance their hormones, and feeling turned on by their life, their lover, and themselves. I'm your host, Maraya Brown. I'm a Yale and functional medicine trained women's health expert, midwife, mom, keynote speaker, and self-made entrepreneur. I'm the founder of my signature program, the Women's Vibrancy Code. So sit back, relax, and let's chat about your energy, hormones, libido, and embracing your feminine power. Oh, and you might want to have pen and paper to take some notes on some of these episodes. All right. I am so thrilled to do a deep dive into hydration. And this is one of those where most of us are going to go, I already know this stuff. But do we really? Because are we actually putting it into practice? Let's talk about hydration. Let's talk about why. Let's talk about what. Let's talk about how, because it's really important. Okay. So first, why? Why is hydration so dang important? Number one, clarity of thought, increased focus, decreased brain fog, okay? A hydrated brain is a brain that has clarity of thought. You will be blown away if you simply make one little shift, and that is to increase your hydration from the moment you wake up throughout the day, an absolute minimum of half of your body ounces in water. My preference is closer to your entire body weight in ounces, but we want clarity of thought, right? Number two, increased energy and consistency of energy throughout the day. If you are one of those that is enrolled in this program because you feel exhausted, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, I promise you, if you simply shift your hydration, things will change. And it's not just the amount of hydration, but we'll talk about things that you can add into your water as well. Hydration helps to regulate body temperature. It helps the body detoxify, right? You've learned a lot about toxic load and how we need to pee, poop, and sweat those toxins out. We need to fill our body with lots of wide variety of fruits, vegetables, and berries so that the liver can convert those fat-soluble molecules, i.e. toxins, into water-soluble so that they can get out. And we have to have hydration so that there's something to actually pee out and sweat out. And it also helps with constipation. So if you're one of those that suffers with constipation, there are lots of things that we talk about in the midst of our time together. But I want you to know that hydration is one of those things. The more hydrated you are, the less likely you will suffer from constipation. Hydration also helps support skin complexion, skin hydration, decreases the signs of aging. It keeps your joints lubricated. So if you're one of those who's like, I think I should be taking a glucosamine and chondroitin, well, have you tried hydrating first? Okay. Yes, some good amino acids and omegas really help that, but you'd be blown away at the simple act of hydrating well will lubricate your joints. Hydration also helps sleep quality. So if you're one of those who's having a hard time sleeping, or you're waking in the morning not feeling rested, or you're drinking alcohol in the evening and the alcohol is causing dehydration, now you're waking up in the morning not feeling rested and having increased brain fog, okay? The more we can stay hydrated, we actually sleep better. Hydration can help stabilize mood throughout the day and can actually help the body continue to feel safe, okay? We talk a lot about fight, flight, or freeze. When in blood sugar maintenance, when you're hungry, the body goes, oh, I'm not safe, I need to hold on, right? It's the same with hydration. If you ever feel thirsty, that tells me you've gone too far and the body actually feels unsafe and unconsciously or consciously goes out into fight, flight, or freeze. Staying well hydrated helps to deliver nutrients to the cells so we can get things moving and grooving throughout the body and deliver those messages and deliver the nutrients. And it keeps the organs functioning properly. Okay, so how much do we hydrate? Like I said, an absolute bare minimum of 10 cups a day, but that is simply not enough. My preference is your body weight in ounces. Many say half your body weight in ounces. So depending on where you are in your current hydration, let's get realistic with a fair goal. If you're one of those that's only really drinking 2 cups a day, okay, let's say 10 cups a day. Okay, that's about 80 ounces. Well, a cup is really 8 ounces. So 1 cup is 8 ounces. So 8 times 8, what is that, 56? Did I get that right? Do the math. And of course, I want you also enjoying your adaptogen elixirs and caffeine-free tea, especially if we've come up with specific medicinal teas that are going to benefit you. And my preference is, in addition, your body weight in ounces. So not just the adaptogen elixirs and the caffeine-free tea, but also adding in water, right? And my preference is not drinking juice. Okay. If you're wanting something sweet-ish to drink, you can get a carbonator, you can add a little bit of stevia, maybe some elderberry syrup, maybe some digestive bitters. There's things that we can add into our drinks, or get a LaCroix bubbly drink. But remember, if you're drinking juice, now we have all the sugar from the fruit or the vegetable and the fiber is taken out. So it's a really high glycemic load. Okay, so then what to hydrate with? Of course, like I said, water, 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 water. And for those of you that are already really good at water, we can talk about things to add into the water. So you are welcome to add some of the following things, and we'll personalize this for you based on kind of where you are and what it is that you're longing for. So one of the great things to do is, first thing in the morning, keep a glass of water by your bedside and just put lemon juice or apple cider vinegar in the water. Start your morning with either lemon or apple cider vinegar in your water. It does great things for alkalizing the body. It helps right away nourish the cells. It also does a great deal of beneficial things on the GI tract. So if you're someone who tends to suffer from bloating, gassiness, heartburn, indigestion, constipation, diarrhea, something as simple as just adding lemon or apple cider vinegar to your water is going to really help that. And when you say which one, it's really just based on which flavor you like better. And you can also just add organic produce. So I'll have my big pitcher of water downstairs on the table because I work from home. If you don't work from home, you can put it in your water bottle. Like if you just plop some blueberries in there, or you cut up a few slices of cucumber and put it in there, maybe leave some celery floating in there, whatever it may be, some fresh strawberries. Now it's adding some flavor to the water if that's something you're longing for. And it's also then absorbing the nutrients from those plants and adding it to the water that you're drinking. For some, you can really benefit by adding some quality sea salt to your water. So if you're one of those who tends to run with a really low blood pressure, you tend to have thyroid stuff, adrenal stuff, you get lightheaded really easily, you tend to crave salt. I think we need to listen to our body most of the time. Not crave salt as in potato chips, but actually get quality like Himalayan sea salt and add a pinch of it into your water and see if your thirst is quenched in a different way. I think it's fascinating that in general, if it's really quality water, our bodies will crave it differently. So when I've been to people's houses that have like the ionizers and the alkalizers and really amazing filtration systems for their water, my body craves it in a very different way. And I think that is something to listen to. Okay. Now, we know the difference between craving alcohol or potato chips versus craving quality water, right? So take that with a grain of salt. But the other thing is, for many of you, we've talked about Calm, which is the calcium magnesium, or just magnesium. It's magnesium citrate. You can add some Calm into your water. It adds some nice flavor, and now we're getting some magnesium in. So we're remineralizing. Particularly if you have hard time sleeping, aches and pains, muscle aches, or you tend towards constipation, often adding in that magnesium can be really helpful. Magnesium has so many different things that it can be helpful for. Headaches, there's a lot of great stuff. Then you know me, I love my greens, right? I'm always saying, can you get more green in? Can you get more green in? What's the most prolific color on the planet? Green. That's a message. We need more green. And our dark greens offer us iron and B vitamins and vitamin K and calcium. And many of them are quite high in protein. And so things like spirulina, wheatgrass, chlorella, stuff like that, each one has a different flavor. And so you have to kind of find which one you like the best, but you can also just add some of that to your water. Now, with my children, when they drink out of a bottle, they have a nut milk in their bottle, and I put spirulina in their bottle. Gut Connect 365, that's another option that you could add to your water. I love the vanilla and cinnamon flavor of the Gut Connect 365. You can always revisit the leaky gut call that I did. And, Gut Connect 365 was designed by Dr. Vincent Pedre. He's a functional medicine doc out of Manhattan, and he's specialized in gut health for decades. He wrote the book Happy Gut, and he also designed Gut Connect 365. It's good at what it does. I think the majority of us probably have some degree of leaky gut, and symptoms can be so vague as brain fog, fatigue, rashes, stomach upset, constipation, diarrhea, malnutrition. I mean, there's so many ways that leaky gut can show up. If you've ever been on antibiotics, if you've ever taken ibuprofen, if you've ever eaten gluten, if you've ever eaten produce that had pesticide or herbicides in it, that could very likely have caused some version of leaky gut in your intestinal lining. It's in your large bowels usually. So the gut lining is supposed to look like cheesecloth, right? It's supposed to be a very permeable membrane. And what happens with leaky gut is the little tiny holes in the cheesecloth get large, and now undigested protein particles and food particles can sneak through, yeast can sneak through. It becomes like, if you just imagine big holes rather than a cheesecloth, and now that's going through. And in some scenarios, it gets into the body and the body goes, this is not fun, and then also can cross over the blood-brain barrier. So now it's really affecting trauma and anxiety and brain fog and all of that kind of stuff. Sometimes we take it back to leaky gut. And remember that the majority of our serotonin comes from our gut, and 70% of our immune system lives in our gut. So going back to things that we can add into our water, adding a little bit of Gut Connect 365 into your water might be something worth doing. The one thing I'll say with Gut Connect 365 is I think it's very powerful. When you first start it, my recommendation is you start with like a quarter of a dose. And one of the things I've experienced, and I've worked with a number of women that have said the same thing, is initially you go through almost like feelings of detox. For me, it will show up as a little bit of like a detox headache. And it's consistent. I've tried going off of it and going back on it. Oh, there it is again. And I think that it's going in and kind of healing that gut lining and helping the body detoxify the stuff that needs to get out. So keep that in mind. If you're going to start Gut Connect 365, really plan on giving it a good 3-month effort. And know that at the beginning, you might have some detox symptoms. And detox symptoms can show up as acne. They can show up as muscle aches. They can show up as fatigue, headache. There's lots of different ways that detoxification can show up. The other thing is collagen, right? We're already adding collagen into our adaptogen elixirs. You could simply have water and add a little bit of collagen to your water, and now you're getting a phenomenal source of protein. Collagen is very soothing to the gut lining. So for any of you who tend towards having stomach upset, IBS, constipation, diarrhea, stomach aches, collagen has been shown to help in treatment of SIBO, small intestinal bowel overgrowth. And collagen and gelatin both kind of do similar work in that realm when it comes to GI stuff. So those are a few ideas of what we can add into our water. And then make sure your water is not stored in plastic, right? We do a deep dive in the midst of our work together around endocrine disruptors, also known as xenoestrogens. And one of the big ways that endocrine disruptors show up is in plastic, okay? So don't store your food in plastic. Don't store your water in plastic. If you are one of those who buys the big water jugs, can you get the glass water jugs instead? I know it's more expensive. But my preference is that we're keeping our water out of plastic, okay? If you have to get them in the big plastic jugs, can we somehow transfer it to glass bottles once you have it there? Or can you get a great filtration system on your home water rather than buying the double osmosis water that's stripped of everything anyway, right? And when we're traveling, like I was just on the road and it's like, gosh, this is really hard to find water. And I had a plastic water bottle and I feel kind of guilty about it. I just have to like go with it and go, this is just a one-time scenario. But if you're in one of those scenarios where you really, it's like the only option you have, please don't freeze your water bottles and don't let them heat up. So don't leave them in the car in the sun. That makes the leaching of the BPAs even worse. Okay. So do your best to keep the plastic stored in a cool, dark place. Okay. Regarding water filtration, I have a whole resource guide. I'll post it in the Facebook group. It's also in the module for those in the 12-month program. A lot of resources from EWG around key points around carbon filtration, kind of like the difference between reverse osmosis and water softeners and distillation, and kind of step-by-step how to use the EWG database. And what you can do is you can look up by your zip code what quality water you have where you live and what is added into that water. And then that helps you, if you're going to buy a filtration system, it helps you figure out what are the things that I need to filter out of the water based on where I live. Okay. So as an example, where I live, they don't add fluoride into the water. Maybe some of you have heard me say in the context of thyroid health, okay, brushing your teeth with toothpaste with fluoride, if it's something that's really important to you and your dentist is saying, absolutely, I can deal with that. In our home, we do not have fluoride in our toothpaste. When we go to the dental hygienist and we have our teeth cleaned, we request the fluoride-free option. Okay. If you, for whatever your specific scenario is, you decide otherwise, fine. There is a difference between getting fluoride directly on your teeth versus ingesting fluoride systemically. And many municipal cities automatically add fluoride into the water that you're drinking. And it is toxic to the thyroid. It is one of those endocrine disruptors for the thyroid. And so you can look up your zip code and find out what are the issues in the water where you live. And then you can choose a filter specific for those extra toxins that EWG is saying are in your area. And then I think the easiest way, if you don't, I mean, of course, like my ideal, I still haven't done it, but my ideal that I can't wait to do one day is to buy a water filtration system that's for the entire house. So that way, even the water that we're showering in, the chlorine has been filtered out, right? So now we just know that what we're showering in, what we're bathing in, what we're cleaning our clothes in, what we're drinking is filtered at the source. Okay, so there's some resources there for you if that's something that you're open to exploring and investing in. Otherwise, if you're just looking for something simple to buy, like a portable filtration unit for your kitchen, the Berkey filter is hands down the best option. Make sure you're not doing the plastic Berkey, but get the stainless steel Berkey. And it just stands on the countertop. You refill it from your tap and then it filters it out. And I think it's the best one out there. And then there's also a resource for, like I said, for home water source filtration. In the context of water, I think while I'm having this conversation, I love to bring up Dr. Masaru Emoto's work. He's a Japanese scientist. He's an internationally renowned scientist that discovered the molecular structure of water is affected by our thoughts, our words, and our feelings. So his research was first introduced to the world in 2004 through a hit movie called What the Bleep Do We Know? If you haven't seen it, I think it's a fun movie worth seeing. I want to show you. Let me find it. I'll do a share screen. Here's thank you, wisdom, truth, eternal, angel, I love you, peace, you fool, sick, evil, polluted water after prayer. Look at the difference underneath the microscope of the structure of the water. It's fascinating stuff. Look at this one. I'm not even going to say this out loud. Heavy metal music. Okay, just the simple thing of, I mean, gosh, just taking your water bottle, like on my water bottle, it says, what does it say? It says perfectionism is canceled, right? You can buy little stickers that you put on your water and you're infusing these positive words of truth, love, joy, and the energy literally goes into the water and changes the molecular structure, okay? When we are in the bath, we pay attention to the emotions and the feelings that are coming out of us because those emotions and feelings are actually going into the water that we are then bathing in. And so as we are drinking water, you can, I also, I put a link in for, there's this beautiful water bottles that you can buy that have crystals. So if you believe in the power or energy of various crystals, you can get crystals that float in your water. You can buy little stickers that go on your glasses and your water bottles to infuse the energy. I think it's just a really fascinating thing. Or if you really believe in prayer, you can pray on your water. They say that the water that's on the planet is the same water since the creation of the planet. It's just simply recycled. For anybody who's seen the Frozen 2, the cartoon, if you have daughters, what is it? Olaf says, the water that we're drinking has passed through an animal 4 different times or something like that. It's true. It just simply, we drink it, we pee it out, it flushes down, goes through up into the clouds, gets rained back down. I mean, water is simply recycled. And so for me as a midwife, when I think, or when I was pregnant, thinking about this beautiful being that's being created in my womb, and it's living in water. And it's living in water that theoretically Jesus and Buddha and every living being that has touched the earth has in some way, shape, or form touched this water. It's really, for me, I think it becomes very expansive and really exciting to think about. I could go on and on with that one. Okay, let's talk about some tricks to make hydration a habit. So number one, start every morning with a full glass of water. If you just set a habit where before you go to bed, you're going to have your glass of water, put on your side table. If you're afraid of spilling it, it's all good. Just have your water bottle with a lid, have it on your side table. Ideally, put some lemon juice or apple cider vinegar in there, okay? And first thing you do when you wake up is you're going to drink at least a tall glass of water, okay? Even if you're on thyroid medications, it's okay. You can still drink your tall glass of water. Lemon juice is fine. Apple cider vinegar is fine. If you're on thyroid meds, you just have to wait a half an hour before you consume caloric intake, okay? Before every meal, first drink a glass of water. So if we think about, like I started with, it's one thing to know that we need to do a better job at hydrating. It's a whole nother thing to actually put it into action and turn it into habit. Okay, so ways to make hydrating habitual is just have this your cue. If you're going to sit down and eat a meal or a snack, before you eat, you drink a full glass of water. And if that just becomes your cue, okay, keep your water container near you. Whenever you're getting up to go get something, make sure you're filling your water bottle, okay, no matter where you go. If you're going on a walk around the block, if you're going in the car, you take your water bottle with you, make sure you're hydrating. And make sure it's not a plastic water bottle, right? Make sure it's BPA free. You can consider setting a timer for every hour to remind you to take a drink. Okay, if you're one of those, I don't ever have the ringer on my phone, so timers don't necessarily work for me. But if you're one of those that really likes a calendar, you can even put it on your calendar as reoccurring every hour or some type of timer that's set. Just a little ding and it reminds you to drink some water. Give yourself cues each day that are associated with water consumption. Some examples could be whenever I brush my teeth, I drink a full glass of water. Whenever I put on my seatbelt, I drink a full glass of water. Whenever I return home from being away, I drink a full glass of water, right? Find the things that work for you. See these individual things as a signal. When I do X, then I drink a full glass of water, right? When I do Z, then I drink a full glass of water. And then if you're one of those that you don't like the flavor of water, we got kind of creative with things that you can add into your water to shift the flavor and maybe shift your body's craving for the water, especially if it's filtered or it's alkalized. Sometimes your body might crave it differently. Another one is if you have a water bottle that's not dark, but is actual translucent or clear, you can write lines on it, okay? So let's say you break it up into fours. Let's say this is a 32-ounce water bottle. You're going to ideally drink more than 3 full water bottles throughout the day. So if most of your hydration is between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m., that means you'll drink one every 4 hours. So if you have a water bottle you can see through, you can mark lines on it and keep track so that you're knowing each hour, right, you're going down the lines, and you can keep it in the fridge. For some people, drinking room temperature water makes a difference. For others, drinking cold water makes a difference. If you know that about yourself, keep it in the fridge, keep ice around. There have been chapters in my life where I wanted to drink through a straw. So I got like those big boba straws. I got the stainless steel ones, and I also have some silicone ones, not plastic. And I was more likely to drink the water throughout the day. I would keep it next to me. And for some reason, drinking out of a straw was significant. When I was pregnant, I wanted it with ice. Now, I don't like to be cold. I like it room temperature. Figure out what works for you, right? And then I think there's also value in, we've already gone over your disc profile. If you're in high SC, you want things planned out. You want a systematic, predictable system, okay? So come up with a system for yourself. Come up with a routine that becomes habitual to help you hydrate over time. And obviously use a water bottle that you love. Okay, I put the link in there for that crystal water bottle. It's called the sojienergy.com. Like, oh, just like feels luxurious to be drinking through that water bottle. Find something that really lights you up and you enjoy drinking through, okay? Make sure you always have water with you no matter where you go. I already mentioned that. And if you work from home, like I mentioned, fill up the water pitcher, and just whenever you walk past it, fill it up. So as just one more reminder, why do we hydrate? Let me say it again, because I think once again, we have to get clarity on what we want and why we want it. And it's the why that will help motivate the steps. Okay. So our stories affect our feelings. Our feelings dictate our actions. Our actions dictate our habits, and our habits become our lifestyle. Right? So those stories and those feelings, when we have clarity around why we want to do this, why we want to hydrate, we'll start telling ourselves stories around why that's important. And it will start shifting their feelings around the water consumption rather than it feeling so difficult because it's never been done. We'll start shifting those feelings. We'll start telling new stories. We start acknowledging why it's important. And then we have little wins when we start doing a better job at hydrating. And then we do it more often. And so now we're more likely to hydrate, and now it's becoming a habit. So once again, why is it important to hydrate? Clarity of thought, increased focus, decreased brain fog, increased energy, consistency of energy throughout the day, regulating body temperature, helping the body detoxify, improving skin complexion, hydration, and decreased signs of aging, okay? Assist in bowel regularity, keep joints lubricated, improve sleep quality, to stabilize mood throughout the day, to prevent infections, to keep the body feeling safe, to deliver nutrients to the cells, and to keep organs functioning properly. The last thing I want to add is remember that when we're eating fruits, vegetables, berries, when we're eating produce, they are 80% water, okay? So when you're eating a predominantly plant-based diet and getting those wide variety of raw produce in your body, you are getting a good amount of hydration. So don't beat yourself up, okay? If one day you make your 10 glasses of water and that's as far as you got, or you only got 8 glasses of water in, but you ate a lot of celery and you ate a lot of watermelon and you had some apples and you had your adaptogen elixir and you had your caffeine-free tea, I want you to also really celebrate the wins. Hopefully you're keeping your win journal and write down the progress that you're making. Write down the days that you're proud of the things that you did, because it's important and it's valuable and it's worth writing down so that we can pat ourselves on the back and then at some point go back and revisit when we're in kind of a slumpy day. Is that a word? When we're in the slumps, having a down energy day, not a slumpy day, then you can go back and go, oh, well, there have been days that I've been really proud of myself. There have been days I've pulled this out. Okay, and I'm going to show myself some grace and be proud of who I am and the efforts that I'm making and the progress that I'm making. And I know on the days that I stay hydrated, how much better I feel. So with that, I just feel like it's really important to really hit this home. And thanks for listening.